Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation, where right and left come to be reasonable. And it is reasonable to deal with what is most frightening. I don't care that I bleed over from one show into the next. It's antiquated. We're having one conversation here at NewsNation, okay? You come and go as you please. I don't control that. I just control what happens on my watch. And I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, I've never been more sure about anything, and it's not because it's an inkling, it's not a guess. It is the combination of 25 years of experience and sources who are telling me we are missing the greatest threat to our safety here at home. Russia? No. China? No. Our old nemesis has retold and is poisoning us in ways that most are clueless about. It's no longer about ISIS, Hamas, Al-Qaeda. It's not about a single group, their figureheads and their stupid videos launching their attacks with their flags behind them. It's more subtle than that. It's more pernicious than that. It's the internet. It's making Americans, specifically young men who are already angry, lost, tired of being blamed for everything, seeming to be excluded from a system, seeming to be the problem, constantly being told they are the problem, despite falling admissions to schools and falling employment rates and falling pay and falling options. They are desperate for purpose. That's what New Orleans was about. That's what the Israeli embassy was about. That's what the healthcare CEO murder was about. That's what you're seeing on campus. Our own people being seduced into believing radical ideas and acting on them to fight back against the system. It's not just about the Jews. Anti-Semitism is just one kind of food source for these predators. You and I are just as vulnerable a target, just as appealing a target. That's what appropriating oppression can be about. These kids here that you and I are raising, all of a sudden believing that they have something in common with the Gazans, and start wearing those keffiyehs and shouting death to Israel, death to America on college campuses where they're getting an education that these people in other parts of the world can only dream of, shouting death to the system that has given them so much. There's a common thread, and it's no longer as simple as Muslim terrorists. I wish it were. But it's so much more frightening to me than that. Now, you don't have to believe this as my assessment, because it's not my assessment. This is what I'm being told as a function of the work of the federal government. We're spending a lot of money to come up with the idea that I just gave you, and other groups that are studying the threats we face here at home. Right-wing groups you know about, right? White supremacists, neo-nationalists, right? They're not new, they're just energized. Since 2002, 3/4 of all terror attacks and plots thwarted by law enforcement were of right-wing extremists here at home. But now they've got this kind of echo. The left wing has its own version of the same evil, and they seem to be vibing with extreme Islamist revolutionary ideas. Why? What knits all this together? How? How do all these disparate things and different people who seem to hate different things and hate one another? How? Fundamentalism. That's what knits it all together. Extreme ideas that embrace an all-in orthodoxy to embrace a change, embracing violence, okay? It can be ISIS, it could be a school shooter taking a shot at the president, it could be killing Israeli embassy workers, it could be killing a corporate CEO taking over a campus. They are all a common cancer. They are investing in an all-in mentality and behavior to oppose. And I'm telling you, after October 7th, that was the coalescing point for me. We saw extreme Islamists and left-wing anarchic radicals here at home find each other, joined by their common hate of the West, of hegemony, of Israel by extension as the white oppressor, even though Jews are not really white, and certainly Israel is barely 50% white, but it doesn't matter. It's not about facts. It's about perverse feelings of injustice and vengeance and belief in violence to create change. That is fundamentalism. That's how Iran went from a robust culture with lots of disparate viewpoints to a toxic theocracy, fundamentalism. And the same people who embraced freedom were seduced into what I'm worried about here at home. So much of it is online and under the radar. This is part of why the State Department issued new guidance to its embassies globally: stop scheduling appointments for foreign students wanting to get a student visa as it prepares to expand its social media vetting. It's not just chilling speech. There is a legitimate concern, but here's the problem. That assumes that the radicalizing is abroad. It isn't. It isn't. You just saw that with the Israeli embassy. It's happening right here, and they're well funded. I'm telling you, when I saw the campus protests, it didn't make sense. Our oldest just graduated from an Ivy League school, and her telling me about it, the sameness of it, and who she was seeing, and how kids seemed to be drawn to it, kids she thought she understood, and all of a sudden they were being so different, so toxic. I could tell there was a guiding hand. It was too organized, too uniform, too tactical. Same tents, same Sadat scarves, same tactics, same chants. It speaks to online manipulation and money, and on the funding side, we can track it more easily-ish. Many of the left-wing and Islamist groups that organized those anti-Israel campus protests were funded by charitable foundations, which are in turn funded by wealthy progressive donors. Yeah, Soros's name is out there. Whether he knows where the money is going, I don't know. It sounds confusing, but one of the reasons it's confusing is because the radical Islamists and their radical lefty associates want it to be confusing. That's the beauty of dark money, okay? It's poisoning us in this regard the same way it's poisoned our politics. The most dangerous money in politics is what? Legal, dark money, not illegal money. It's all legal. And they use dark money, Citizens United, money is speech, to fund schemes and conceal that they were the ones helping fund the protests. And many of the pro-Palestinian charities that funded the protests are run by people who had ties to terror funding to Hamas and were formed by members of the Muslim Brotherhood, okay? They are the agency of chaos. They are the head of the snake. And the progressive donors were also key players in selling Obama's Iran nuclear deal, which sought to realign U.S. foreign policy with Iran. You see what I'm saying? They're working this a lot of different ways. And I think that President Trump deciding to mess with Iran right now, once again without an apparent plan, could be the catalyst that takes our domestic division to a new level. I'm not saying that Iran is a good guy. They are a terrible player on the world stage. The world would be safer without their toxic theocracy that believes in subjugating humanity, let alone if they were to have nukes. I get why that can't happen. But they do not need a bomb to cause explosions here at home. The enemy is real. We know what it is, but we are too busy fighting with the other side to realize and focus on the growing reality that there's somebody who wants to kill both sides. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.